Welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting people that have said yes to opportunities in their life. We hope that through these stories, you can learn to create your own destiny by saying yes along the way. Join us as we explore the new series covering topics such as passion, integrity, and hard work. I'm your host, Jim Riley, and I hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I do. I believe that everyone has an important message worth hearing. Hello and welcome to the Answer Yes podcast. I suppose it's the holiday season and hopefully everybody is enjoying the process of getting ready for Christmas or whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year. I know around my house we've got the Christmas trees up. We went out and cut them down in the forest and we've got snow on the ground. So it's a wonderful time of year and I'm just hoping the best for you. This morning I've got Bryan Cressey on the line who's got a wonderful story to tell. Bryan, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Jim.
I appreciate you taking the time. Your publicist reached out to me on several occasions and said, I've got the guy for you and your show. So just to keep our listeners out of suspense, would you mind just walking us through some of your history? You can go back as far as you want. We've had people talk about how they sold gum on the playground when they were in elementary school or when you got into college. Or what were some of the steps that got you to your career that you're in now?
I think my dad helped get me started by teaching me I could crush flowers and call them perfume and sell them door to door as a kid. And then it graduated from there to raspberries door to door and at stores and then on from there. And I worked as I went through school, I worked my way through. So I think it was that young entrepreneuring that I did.
It's amazing how many parents get involved in their kids' lives at a young age when they see that entrepreneurial spirit and how that just carries on throughout your life. I haven't had anybody sell perfume before. Usually it's a newspaper or some gum on the playground, like I mentioned. So that's pretty fascinating.
Absolutely. And I also realized, and I think that helped me see it, one of the great things I said yes to was taking some risk. And during my first job, saying yes to my older partners who wanted to start a firm with the three of us. I was leaving a big, safe institution, and we'd be going out to start with no capital, and we had to go raise the money and then invest the money wisely. And we had to produce big returns in the companies we helped build. So it was risky, but you know why I said yes? I realized I only live once, and that was important to me.
Yeah. Give us a time frame of what year that was roughly, because I think it's important for people to understand. We've been saying yes for a long time in this country and have seen a lot of success of it, and it's from people that like you that have said yes. We've created industry and great businesses and platforms.
Yeah, I said yes to our starting that venture capital firm in 1980. And then I said yes to starting another one in 1996, and another in 2008, another one in 2016. I'm still involved in the latter two, and the first two are huge successes in national firms today. All the firms have been wonderfully successful. So I encourage people to take risk in things you know, in things you understand. That's what worked for me. I understood these things, I thought, and I was about to find out, but I wouldn't know till I took some risk. And then I could really learn and find out.
Bryan, in that first venture, what are some of the things that you guys put into place that eventually led to the success that you have now? And why was it that you put those things in place? We're talking about 1980s.
Yeah, we were proactive. So early on, we had been studying the communications industry and saw the opening to build a major company. We did a startup with the CEO and built the world's largest paging company. I don't know whether you remember pagers or not. Doctors used to wear them and still some do, but pre-cell phones, that was it. And we got up to 10 million customers. Wow. And became the largest firm in the world in the business. Luckily, we sold it before the end came through cell phones. But we said yes to that. We also started focusing on healthcare because healthcare is forever a good potential field. We all want more of it. And we built a particular company, started a new type of hospital, and we became very successful at that. So some of the things we did our own proactively and decided to do made our reputation and big returns for our investors.
So was your reputation built on, I understand the proactive side of it, but was it on customer service, quality of your product, the salespeople that you had? What was your primary focus in these business that gained that success?
The success was created by these companies because we focused on better quality to the customer. That was the primary focus, and found if we provide better quality service, better quality products to the customers, we win. The rest of it falls into place, and it works because most companies don't take that approach. Most companies try to chisel and figure out how to get the best bottom line by cost cutting. We figured out best customer service. That brought volume to us. The volume created efficiencies. And of course, we concentrated on having great people and taking great care of them. That was it. And it still works today.
You know, that's such a good point. I consult a lot of startup businesses, and they all want to ask, well, what's the key to success? And the reality is it's so simple that people overlook it all the time. And it's good customer service and delivering on your word. It's not much harder than that. Like you said, the rest kind of falls in place because it's just not that difficult.
No, in fact, it turns out I have a great reputation, I guess. People tell me that. and the reason is I do what you just said, Jim. When I tell someone I'm going to do something, I make sure I do it. I write it down, I do it. If I'm not sure, I say I'll try. I don't say I will. And that helps your reputation tremendously. It's as simple as always do what you say you will.
Yeah. My brother's, a lot of the listeners know my brother's was the CEO of InNOut Burger for 35 years. His sister-in-law is the owner, and it's just a fabulous company. But everybody asks me, like, what makes them so special? Why are they so different? And by the way, there's a lot of great hamburgers out there, but they focused on customer service. And internally, they focus on their employees and treating them like their number one asset. Again, it's not that difficult, but you've got this legacy company started in 1948 with the primary focus of the customer. There's no secret sauce here, is there?
No, there's not. Our healthcare companies now talk to patients and find out and do surveys. How long did you have to wait? How did you feel about that? How was the doctor? Did you understand the doctor's instructions? Did we keep you in the facility too long? How was the quality? And when you survey and you focus on getting those to improve, just improve them every month, every year, you win. It's that simple once again. Just keep improving. One thing I've learned is do not compete with the competition. Do not look at what they're doing because you'll be tempted to copy, and that's not you. Do what you do best and then improve it every year, all the time. When companies that do that turn out to be like InNOut Burger, way ahead of the competition without looking at the competition.
Yeah, and that's another great point. Oftentimes I talk to people about just putting your blinders on, staying focused on what you know, what you do, and do the best job possible. And I relate that back to my competitive Spartan racing. You don't spend the whole race looking over your shoulder at somebody chasing you down. If you're giving it your all, there's no reason to look back or look what everybody else is doing, especially if you believe in your product.
Yes, and being yourself. If you look at others, you won't be yourself. You need to put blinders on, do what you do best, and work on improving what you do, whether it was athletics, which you sound like you learned a lot from. I learned some from too. But especially I've learned by helping build so many companies and also seeing failures. I make lots of mistakes, but I learn from them. I learned middle age, start admitting your mistakes and learn from them. And so I started talking about my mistakes to my colleagues. And guess what? Everyone wanted to help. I learned a ton. And just like Walt Disney, who had a terrible background of failure until he succeeded, you learn from those mistakes and you get good enough to succeed.
Yeah, my friend David Meltzer says, we paid the dummy tax, so you don't have to, as consultants, right? That's what you're paying us for when we're helping you. I have you mentioned the healthcare industry. I've got a new friend, Justin Bowles, up here in Montana. He's starting his own practice. It's going to be a direct pay medical practice. And I said, well, why? What were you thinking? He goes, I came from those big conglomerates and I see what they're doing wrong and I want to do it right. He says, I want to spend an hour with my patients if I need to. I want to help them on preventative health and, diets and all these things that will prevent them from coming in. I thought, wow, here's a guy that in an industry I don't know much about, but changing the trajectory of where our resources coming from as it relates to medical. And glad that you brought up medical because this was fresh on my mind.
Yes, what he's doing will be a big success because companies are skimping on time and money, et cetera. When practitioners go out like he's doing and give patients sufficient time, they flock to the door. And the only thing you have to remember as a provider is price appropriately. Don't try and skimp on your price. Price fully so you can afford to do that and be successful. Too many business people are afraid to raise price, and that will impede being able to invest in your future and getting great new employees and teammates. So I believe in pricing fully and giving way more than customers expect in a way better fashion.
That's an interesting topic to discuss because oftentimes people underprice their items, or they're delivered on the quality. If you've delivered on the time you're willing to give, It's a wonderful lesson to teach people.
It really is. Most of our companies, the CEOs don't price right, and they don't think about it. They keep trying to cut costs, but what customers want is better service, as you pointed out, better products. They don't mind paying more because in the long run, it's cheaper. To get it right the first time, get going the right way, if you're visiting a doctor the first time, that is invaluable.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Justin and the service he's going to provide. If he can provide preventative health care, and ask the important questions about my diet and my exercise and my supplements and all these other things, I'm going to stay out of that doctor's office. And that's really where we want to be. It's not in the doctor's office.
That's the future of medicine. You just put your finger on it. Is companies that help oversee the care for individuals with chronic conditions. They keep them out of the emergency room. They keep them out of the hospital. They spend more on primary care and advising them. And guess what? The cost of medicine goes down. The improved patient health goes way up. And it's a very virtuous cycle. It's only starting to happen.
Yeah. Well, Justin, if you're listening, you're on the right target here. Bryan and I just kind of clarified that for you, so hopefully you'll keep pushing forward. Bryan, talk about some of the other things that you're currently doing in your business and industry, and how can that help our listeners?
We are proactively looking for where to invest next. Most investors wait to hear what are people doing. We don't. We do the opposite. We go out and find where is there a need in healthcare, in this niche or that niche, for a better company. How could we make one better? Then we go out and do it. We find a young company that's good. We help make them great. So we proactively, in fact, we're going to an offsite, which we do biannually. Next week, we spend 4 days assessing 70 healthcare niches, fields, areas, determining which ones are going to grow and which ones need change, because we have to invest where there's change. That's where there's opportunity, and that's where we and our resources and experience are needed. If we do something ordinary, we get ordinary returns. It's kind of like a little spanking.
Yeah.
But if we learn